Okay, now we're going over from the sound to working on the live stream stuff. So over here we have Planning Center. This is Planning Center version, not Planning Center, Pro Presenter 6. Pro Presenter 6. On the other computer we have Pro Presenter 7. So that is why this one looks different. We're just going to remind me later. That's why that one looks different and handles a couple things a little differently. All of us that are used to Pro Presenter 6 don't love all of the changes they made, as is normal to everything. So for starters, Pro Presenter 6, we're going to click on the first slide. So down here in our playlist, we have announcements, and we just weekly update that. So the next time we get together, it will be Good Friday, so we're going to keep all these. But then after Good Friday, we're going to delete this Good Friday one so that it's up to date. And then we're going to add some new May slides in here. I'll show you how to do that in a little while on a different video. But right now, we're just setting up for Sunday. So we want to click on this welcome, and then in the corner, you'll notice it's showing this video, but it's not showing another icon. So we want to put this on about 4 to 5 seconds. I like 5 seconds. Pastor Seth likes 4. So whatever you want to do. And then when we click that, you'll notice in the corner now there's a little time clock. And if you scroll down to the last slide in this section, notice how this title over here says Palm Sunday. So that's the start of the next section. This little clock, there's a time clock and a little arrow. That arrow makes it automatically run all the slides in a loop so it never stops. And so once you turn that on, in order to activate the slides moving to the next slide and looping, you need to click on the slide. So now we'll click on it. As soon as we clicked on that, if you looked, that red X popped up, because now it's going to move every 5 seconds to the next slide. If you have a video in there, it'll run the video. For example, this resurrection, it runs the video, and then it counts to 5 seconds, and then it will move over. So that's just how it works. It's annoying. I'd rather it do the video and immediately move, but that's just how it works. So it will eventually move over to the next slide. It did. And so this over here is what we're sending out to the eCam, which is our camera. So over here, you have the option of looking at the stage, which down here I have a little cheat sheet here. So first, press call. So we're going to press call, and it even has a number 1 on it for you. Then 2, press your options. Your option are all these little things. PC means Pastor Courtney, so we're going to want to change that. Out is showing just more people on the stage. Far is showing everyone on the stage except the drums. Here is Pastor Seth. That's where he normally stands. That's a close-up of Pastor Seth. Out, this is normally out far enough so that he can pace back and forth and stay in frame. If he's having a really pacey moment, then you can do far, so it goes back even further. K is Keith. V2 is vocal 2, that's on that side of the stage, and no one uses that right now. V3 is the vocal on that side of the stage, and then drums, we'll zoom in on the drummer for you. So we're just going to do out and watch it move. Oh wait, out, and then we're going to press enter. So watch it move, just press enter, and the camera automatically moves. I did it too slow. I'm going to do them one right and the other. And then the camera automatically moves to that location that you asked it to. And so then over here, we want to make sure that it's on record only and stream. Now, if you really want to, you can, once service starts, we unmute. We want to wait till service starts and the background music is turned off to unmute so that our video doesn't get muted on YouTube and Facebook. And then during worship, this is a great place to have this little ball, volume ball, but when Pastor Seth is speaking, we do want it all the way up. It is okay to keep it all the way up the whole time. It shouldn't distort our sound at all, but then the instruments will be a little bit louder during worship. But we definitely want, when Pastor Seth is speaking, for this to be turned all the way up, because we've had some issues. Because basically in-house right now, Pastor Seth, when he talks, his gain is up pretty high and his volume is not up very high. So if we turned his gain up more, we'd have to turn this down even more, and we'd have a little bit less control. So we've just left it that we need to turn this little slider up all the way when he's speaking. So I usually, when I'm doing it, I just turn it up all the way so I don't have to think about it. We also want to make sure this says record and stream are both selected. And then when it's time to go, okay, so now we're starting the video. So we want to get started with the video going the 10 minutes before service. So we want to click right here. Any changes we make, we're going to click on this first one here. If we click here, nothing happens. But if we click here, it changes to the slides. If we click it again, it takes the slides off. So always clicking in this first box here. So now the slides are running. So when we start, this is what they're going to see online, because we don't, if we can help it, we don't really want them to be looking at an empty stage or at people's heads walking around getting ready for service. We'll just show them these slides, and it'll be silent online because we don't want our video getting muted for the whole service. Okay, so that is done. So now we have our slides running. So now we want to go to Safari, and everything's saved in here. But there are, Pastor Seth and Katie should have all of the logins because I made all the logins the same thing. We're not giving that to everyone here because then everyone would be able to access all of the church documents, which is not a safe thing. So Boxcast, we click here. Automatically comes up with admin. That's our office email address. You just click it and it'll automatically bring the password up and then click login really easily. If that ever gets lost, Pastor Seth and Pastor Katie and whoever else comes in to do the office will have that because it's the same login and password that we use for everything that has to do with the church. And it's different from the computer logins because it's online program. So if it was Easter morning, 4:20, then we would click on this and do these next things. But right now I'm going to create a broadcast. So we're going to go to schedule and start scheduling. And you can do a recurring series. When I set these up, I always do a recurring series, and then I go through each one and change the names so that they match the date that they're happening on. In the past, we just had a generic broadcast name and all of them were the same, but I really liked being able to scroll through, see the title, and pick the date that you wanted to look at. So hopefully the next person will continue doing that for us because that's a little bit nice of a thing to do. So broadcast name, we're just going to call it Test for Today. Now normally you should have a whole bunch of broadcasts set up like you saw on that previous screen, and you won't have to do any of this, but if there's no broadcast there, this is what we do. So we have a single broadcast, we're going to call it, we give it a name, we give it a description. Normally we would say, welcome to New Day, so glad you're here, blah, blah, blah. Normally I just go and copy and paste what I had in the previous one so that I don't have to think too hard and make sure that it's nice and doesn't say weird things. And then you can also have a pre-broadcast thumbnail that comes up. And I'm going to upload that, upload new, let's do this, select previous upload. So it comes up, oh, which one did we want to do? We'll just keep doing this same New Day logo. So we'll just click on that or double click. Oh, click on it, then scroll down and click apply. It's been a little while. And then just here, just a test for the description. And then we come down here to video source. And that, of course, we want to be eCam. The eCam, because eCam is what we use over here. Whenever you click on something in Mac, when you come up to the top, it'll tell you what program it is. So eCam Live is what we're using for our video. So over here, we want eCam to be the one that's selected as our source, eCam. There we go. And we want to keep it at 720. We don't yet have the capability for 1080p. It will look better if we get to that capability, but when we've done it in the past, it's run slow and been a little glitchy. So we're just doing 720, so it's not the best, but it's better than 480, definitely. And so then we want to make sure Facebook Live logged in as Seth Boer, we want to add to page. If we just leave that there, it'll go on Pastor Seth's personal timeline. And if we do page, then it will let us put it on New Day Assembly of God page. And then YouTube Live, we want to add to the only option. NDAG, that's New Day Assembly of God. It's our YouTube page. And visibility, we want it to be public. Anyone can look at it. And visibility public, recording options, record broadcast. So it's already there. Channels, then we want to select New Day Assembly of God Pittsburgh, PA, because that will go to our website. Advanced options we don't need to worry about, and now we can just schedule the broadcast. Did I give it a time yet? I don't remember there being a time. Oh yes, so the time will be right now. We'll just leave it as that, and it has a half hour that it's going. So back to the bottom, schedule broadcast. So now this is coming up here. So normally when you go to broadcasts, it'll be the date for Sunday will be up here in the top. We called it test. Normally it'll be the title for our Sunday. And notice it says, please wait, the stream is not started. Over here it says Ecamm offline. And that's because we need to tell Ecamm to start sending it. So over here, we click the new button in the corner and wait patiently for something to happen. Oh yeah, new. And then this box will pop up. It'll pop up wherever it feels like. And this says go live now selected. That's what we want. And then we're gonna do go live now. Notice this says Amazon Live. I believe that's because Boxcast is associated with Amazon. So go live now. So then over here, now it has this red live at the top, and down here it has a finish button. So this is now being sent out to the live stream. And so now we're just waiting patiently for this Ecamm to no longer say offline, and there it changed to broadcasting. And then we want to wait another minute or two, and there's going to be a play button that comes up in the middle here. And then if you notice up here, if like service is running long, you can add 30 minutes. I usually just set it to run for 3 hours so that if service runs long, we don't have to worry about it because we're always going to end the broadcast ourselves anyway. So we're waiting. Sometimes it can take a couple minutes. If you watch the video on your phone to see where we're at online, make sure things are coming through, or test the sound with some headphones on, then you'll notice it's a couple minutes behind. So that's all this lag time that we're waiting for, is the couple minutes behind. So that play button comes up, we just click the play button, and you're going to notice that the stuff that's happening on the Ecamm is going to immediately come up when we do, and click. And Ecamm live program, that thing came up. Let's click this again. There we go. So now this will automatically come up. And this will be whatever's showing. So if we come over here and we click to get rid of those, to take that off the screen and go back to looking at the stage, it'll take a moment because there's a delay. So it stopped going there, and here it hasn't changed yet. So we're going to give it a little time for this delay. I want some Alex Trebek Jeopardy music. Do 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 do. There we go. So now it goes to there. So normally we're not waiting on Boxcast. We're not looking at this during service. We're just switching back and forth here, and knowing that once we have Boxcast up here, it'll be doing what it needs to be doing. So just because we are testing and going live, I'm going to put this back on, just in case anyone is noticing it online. And then we're going to come over here, and at the end of this service, we're going to click End Broadcast. So it's the end of the service, we click End Broadcast, and then it'll finish whatever it's doing for a moment. End broadcast. Broadcast ended successfully. Okay, and then we come over here and we click Finish, and then End Broadcast here. And now, since we were streaming and recording, we can click show file and we can listen to it if we want to check sound levels from the service and make any changes. And it's Amazon Live with today's date. So that is always nice because you can go back and look there, or you can just go to YouTube and listen to it there. That's what I do. And then you just click OK when we're done. If you don't want to do that right now or don't need to. And then we always want to make sure we mute at the end as well. And that's everything for the live stream that we need to know. So the other thing is during the live stream, while we're doing announcements, so we'll come over here and let's say we're showing announcements. Pastor Seth starts talking about Good Friday. So we're going to come over here. We're going to click on our Good Friday slide. Now that's immediately going to move on in 5 seconds, or we can click on it and keep on clicking on it every couple seconds, and then it'll stay up indefinitely so then he's talking about Good Friday, and then he starts talking about Resurrection Sunday. So then we click on Resurrection Sunday and we just keep clicking and clicking. Then he starts talking about Andre Van Zyl. So we just keep clicking and clicking and clicking until it's done. And then when he's done, we come back over here and we click to remove that and go back to our video. The other thing you can do over here, if you are able and have time, is you can, after the beginning of the video, you can come up here and you can do remove all. And then notice all those clocks disappeared. So now when he does announcements online, you can just click on it, and you don't need to click on anything else. It'll just stay there because it doesn't have that clock going. And then you can click the next one when it's time, when he starts talking about that, and the next one when it's time he starts talking about that. So that's just so online people can see what's going on. The most important thing about online right now for us, based on the team that we have and the availability we have, the most important thing is taking care of what's in-house first and then online second. So if there's something else going on where normally you'd be doing stuff with the live stream, but there's something going on in-house, then our thoughts are that we ignore the live stream stuff so that we can take care of the in-house stuff first. And then if you're just standing around doing nothing, you can go back to taking care of the live stream stuff. So then over here, one other thing for the camera, I'm going to take that off so we can look at the camera. So I showed you how to click each of these. So let's look at how to set one. So let's do call, and then drums, and then 3. And I'm going to pull it up so you can say 3. It automatically goes to the drums. Let's say I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, I feel like it's a little bit off center. Like the drums are here, and there's all this dead space here that I don't really love. So I'm going to move this over just a little bit so the drums are more in the center. And to move it over, we just use our joystick, move that way, move up, move down, and then you'll see it says it here. And then here it shows you wide. So that means if you want it wide, we're gonna turn it this way. Wide. So wide means go out further, and then tele, that's short for something, that means to go closer. And so you just decide how close do we want? Do we want to see Jason's nose hairs, or just that he is our drummer today? So I like getting so that none of that TV and none of those chords are in there, and then getting it kind of centered on his face. Now, the other thing is we have these drums over here and this keyboard over here. We could maybe put a cloth over those, or we can just scroll over a little bit, and so that we don't see it as much. And that's probably why there was that dead space over there. But let's say we moved it and we love it. We love where that is. So now we want to save that new location. Sometimes the camera might do something weird, and when you press a button to go somewhere, it doesn't go there. Maybe someone saved something by accident, so you might have to do this. So instead of pressing call, we're going to press set. because we're going to set it up. And we're setting up the drummer. So we're going to then click drummer and then press enter. So now when you press, let's say we're showing the band that's there today, and we want to go to the drummer, now it'll go to that location instead of the previous one. So now call drummer 3, and then it'll go to that spot that we just set up, where we don't have the keyboard, but we do have a little bit of that drum showing. A little bit too much dead space for my liking, but it is what it is. So yeah, that's how to save a new location so that you can just use these buttons. I like using these buttons. And then we have, let's do call Pastor Seth, enter. So now it's going to zoom into where Pastor Seth normally stands. And so he likes to pace. So if you like to, I think it's great to stay zoomed in. And then as he paces, you just tilt this. You don't press it all the way because it'll move fast, but just tilt it a little bit until it makes sense for you. So it moves slowly while he's walking. And then what I do is I wait till I see that he's turning to walk this way. So I immediately just start moving very slowly in that direction. And then he'll stop, chat, and then he'll turn to walk this way. As soon as before he gets to the middle of the screen, then I'll start pushing to follow him walking that way. And that way I like that because you can see his facial expressions a little bit more. If you have too much going on, or that's just too much for you right now, just press call out, enter. I'm going to wait to see. And then that has the whole space where he normally stays in frame, pacing back and forth. If he's having a day where, if you realize that he normally gets to this edge and maybe steps out a little bit, we might want to set a new thing for his out. You might want to move it out a little bit wider so that it has a little bit more space on the ends. And I've done that a couple times. Or the other option, which we don't love, is to do call, far, enter. And that's only if he's like really traveling in his pacing. But we don't really love looking at the back of everyone's heads. So the closer, the better, which is why I would suggest doing call, Pastor Seth, enter, and then following him around as he walks. That would be I think the best. And the more you do it, the better you'll get at it, the less choppy it'll become, and you'll get used to it. Just like driving a car. At one point, when you pressed on that brake, it stopped really choppily, but now you're able to do it smoother because you have more practice. But again, if you have any questions at all, please contact me and let me know.